Peace. All praise and glory to the Supreme Spirit of Truth, the living one, the authority, the author that moves all things in place. There is none like him. Blessings to all that serve the Spirit of Truth. Today we're going to be reading from Deuteronomy chapter 29, the renewal of the covenant. These are the terms of the covenant the Lord commanded Moses to make with the Israelites in Moab, in addition to the covenant he had made with them at Horeb. Moses summoned all the Israelites and said to them, "Your eyes have seen all the Lord did in Egypt to Pharaoh, to all his officials, and to all his land." Now, may I just say that me personally, myself, I didn't see all that the Lord did. I didn't see it. And I can confidently say, realistically, that nobody that's alive and living today saw these miracles performed as well. Just saying that. Not saying that it didn't happen. I'm just pointing it out that we didn't see any of these things that took place with our own eyes. This Bible was written thousands of years ago. So clearly, when this book was being written, it was being written to those children of God then that went through all these amazing, wonderful miracles that were performed. Remember also that this God, this Lord here is Lord Yahweh, okay? Translated from other tablets. The Samaritan tablets is Enlil. So always keep that in mind as well. To all his officials and to all his land. With your own eyes you saw those great trials, those signs and great wonders. But to this day the Lord, Yahweh, the proper name of God of Israel, okay, this would be the eternal creator. This is the God of the Bible of Israel, okay, giving you the name, Yahweh. Okay, Yahweh, though, is a man of war. And I've said this many times. I will reinforce everything that I say with scriptures. 15:3 of Exodus says that Yahweh is a man, and I've showed that to you. Okay, but to this day the Lord has not given you a mind that understands, or eyes that see, or ears that hear. To this day. So if what's taking place back then is taking place to this day, then your minds still don't understand, or eyes that see or hear. This is what your Lord is telling you. He's not, I understand this, that you don't have eyes to see. Yet the Lord says, during the 40 years that I led you through the wilderness, your clothes did not wear out, nor did the sandals on your feet. You ate no bread and drank no wine or had fermented drink. I did this so that you might know that I am the Lord, Yahweh, the self-existing eternal Spirit, the God of Israel. Okay? Now, a lot of people that are Israel don't even call the Supreme Creator the Lord your God. Deuteronomy 29 verse 6 Bible Hub. Here's the Lord right here, Yahweh, the proper name of God of Israel, from Haya, self-existent or eternal, Jehovah. Okay, and don't forget, folks, we are in some kind of simulation. If history continues to repeat itself and loops itself, and we've come to an age where they're cloning people, then what's to say whether or not you are the clone?
Adam. He's not the clone. You are.
So, what if Hollywood is telling you? What if history repeats itself? This is what I keep telling you people. What if history repeats itself and we've come to the precipice because they're clearly telling us the technology today that they are cloning humans. Well, I don't know what they're not humans. Okay, they're beasts. They're empty shells. So what is it he's telling you right there, man? You are the clone. What if it's you that are the clone? The Gentile nations that were created on the sixth day of creation. Okay, in an image of God. Yeah, this is heavy stuff. So also God here is Elohim. You also have Eloheka. You have Elohim, and many other Elos, which are all of Eloah. And then you also have God El, the Almighty. So all of them have to deal with this plane of existence, which is the electrification of the materialized world, syntropy, the crossover between the third eye, from the spiritual eye to the material world. It's absolutely having this knowledge is just it's amazing. When you reached this place, Sihon, king of Heshbon, and Og, king of Bashan, came out to fight against us, but we defeated them. We took their land and gave it as an inheritance to the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half-tribes of Manasseh. Carefully follow the terms of this covenant so that you may prosper in everything you do. All of you are standing today in the presence of the Lord your God. Again, remember, the Lord your God. The Lord is Yahweh. Okay? God is Elohim. So there's a God that's being, these gods here are used, Elohim are used. And then there's always an order. The question is, if this Lord here, Yahweh, is a man, then Israel, you are worshiping a man, and you are not worshiping the Spirit of truth, because the Spirit of truth tells you that he is not a man. It's that simple. Standing in order to enter into the covenant with the Lord your God, a covenant the Lord is making with you this day, and sealing with an oath, to confirm you this day as his people, that he may be your God, Elohim, many gods, as he promised you and as he swore to your fathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. This very well could be right here, folks. I hate to tell you. I'm just saying it out loud. Don't get mad at me. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is a trinity. I am making this covenant with its oath, not only with you who are standing here with us today in the presence of the Lord, our God, but also with those who are not here today. So everybody that wasn't there is accountable to the laws that are presented before you. You yourselves know how we lived in Egypt and how we passed through the countries on the way here. You saw among them their detestable images and idols of woods and stone, of silver and gold. See, the Spirit doesn't care about any of these things. Once you understand that you're looking at a human, which you think is a human being, is a spiritual being. Okay? It's of the Spirit. This plane of existence that we live on is a magic show. Okay? Make sure that there is no man or woman, clan or tribe among you today whose heart turns away from the Lord our God, to go and worship the gods of those nations. Make sure there is no root among you that produce such bitter poison. Here we're looking at Deuteronomy chapter 29, verse 18, Bible Hub. Gods here, look, Elohi is all still same, plural of Eloah. Okay, gods in the ordinary sense again, but specifically used. Also 430 of the Strong's Concordance. Okay, make sure no man or woman, clan or tribe among you today whose heart turns away from the Lord, again, Yahweh, proper name of God of Israel, okay, the 613 laws of Yahweh, okay, our God, Elohim, once again, Elohinu, okay, plural of Eloah. So now you have Elohinu, you have Eloheka, you have Elohim, you have many other Elos that are all of a plural of Eloah. These are all gods in the ordinary sense, once again. Okay, the Lord your God again, to go and worship those nations. That's what it was I wanted to get to. The Lord our God, to go and worship the gods of those nations. What are the nations? The nations are foreign nations, the Gentile. Okay? Troops of animals, the Gentile. Images of the United Nations, the Gentile. These are the Gentile. These are the nations that one God, where laws and commandments came from to his people, Israel, have rule over. But right now, Israel, these nations all rule over you. They have, well, they may have always ruled over you. Who knows? I don't know. I wasn't here 6,000 years ago, 5,000, 4,000, 3,000, 2,000, 1,500 years ago. I wasn't here during all those times. I don't know what's been said. I know that this Bible has been tampered with. I know that there are parts added to this Bible and that there are parts that are taken away from this Bible. I read enough books. I listen to enough channels that are far more more articulating the message better than I am about certain information. As far as articulating this Bible in a 666 fashion and helping you to understand and see that Elohim are many gods, and Elohim have a lot of titles, different titles. I'm showing it to you right in your face. I'm showing you that the nations are the Gentile nations, and it's the book. This is why Genesis is the first book in the Bible, when I really believe that Revelations is the first book in the Bible, because before you can have a beginning, you had to have a before. And the before is the war that took place in heaven. And this is why Genesis and Revelations are so well connected to one another. Okay. When such a person hears the words of his oath and they invoke a blessing on themselves, thinking, I will be safe, even though I persist in going my own way, they will bring disaster on the watered lands as well as the dry. The Lord will never be willing to forgive them. His wrath and zeal will burn against them. All the curses written in the book will fall on them, and the Lord will blot out their names from heaven, from under heaven. The Lord will, to blot out, how many names have been blotted out, Israel? How many names of your children have been blotted out because you refuse to stop worshiping idol worship? It is going to condemn you. You must understand. Do you know why they call Woods, white men, Woods in prison, because that's what you are when you worship a piece of wood. You're like the piece of wood, and it tells you those that make them idols, those that make idols, those that make them are just like them, and so are those that trust in them. So if you trust in an idol, then you are just like an idol. And that is called idol worship. It is idolatry. I'm telling you, you need to wake from your slumber, people. You are bowing down at a church before a wooden piece of wood, a whittled piece of wood. Jesus is the God of death. I prove it to you all day long, over and over. Okay, the Lord will never be willing to forgive them. All the curses will be upon you. The Lord will blot your names out. The Lord will single them out from all the tribes of Israel for disaster according to the curses of the covenant written in the book of the law. Your children who follow you in later generations and foreigners who come from distant lands will see the calamity that have fallen on the land and the disease with which the Lord has afflicted it. Now, this is so huge that people don't understand. This is taking place right now, the disease and the affliction on the land. Well, what's going on? You have Bill Gates, who's what? Purchasing all that land, as we're told, and then he's setting it all ablaze. They're burning up wheat fields and stuff like that to increase the price because they're greedy. It's just amazing to me that when the scales come off your eyes and you see how this plane of existence operates, then everything that's written in this Bible is taking place. The whole land will be burning, wastes of salt and sulfur, nothing planted, nothing sprouting, no vegetation growing on it. It will be like the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, Admah and Zeboim, which the Lord overthrew in fierce anger. All the nations will ask, why has the Lord done this to this land? Why this fierce burning anger? Well, this Lord is Yahweh, remember? Right? And this particular one, let's see, 29, 24. 29, 24. So here again, all the nations will ask, right here. All the nations will ask. All the nations right here will ask, well, what the hell do you think they're talking about? How asleep do you have to be that you can't understand that this Bible's talking about you? Okay? It's talking about us. It's talking about these are the fallen angels. This is the rebellion against God, supreme, the Spirit of one, the Almighty, the authority, the perpetual, the one that is without beginning and without end. Jesus had a beginning and Jesus had an end, and he tells you that he had a beginning and he tells you that he had an end, and you guys can't put that together. The Supreme Spirit doesn't have a beginning and an end, folks. The Supreme Spirit says that he's always existed, and this is a mind-blowing concept, that if the Supreme Spirit has always existed, it's your head should be popping off your head, off your shoulders. Has always existed. So now you're thinking that, okay, God has always existed and he only created all of this today, what we know of, only 6,000 years ago? No. This is the evolution of the Gentile. You see, in the beginning was a long ass freaking time ago. In the beginning could have been 5 or 6 million years, billions of years ago. In the beginning, we don't know how long it was in the beginning, but in the beginning was a long ass time ago. I can tell you that. So 24 here, the nations again are the Gentile nations, also a troop of animals. Well, what's a flight of locusts? Why are they considering them flights of locusts? Images of military troops marching in ranks? These are your flights of locusts. These are the beasts of the field, each according to your kinds. Okay, you guys love your military, man. People stand in the streets and scream at you and tell you that America's got the strongest military on the face of the earth. We're so badass. Don't come and mess with America. No, they're just going to drop some nuclear bombs on you, about 2,000 nuclear warheads on America, and then you're going to realize that's what it meant when God said that he's going to drop fire and hellstone on you. He's going to drop about 2,000 freaking nuclear warheads on you, and then you're going to know the wrath of burning in hell. That's a fact. Keep worshiping these other gods. You're worshiping something that is made of wood. So this is why you are called woods in the jailhouse. Also, wasn't Pinocchio a piece of wood, a whittled piece of wood? And who was his maker? Geppetto? Yapeto? Hey, Yapeto, we're going to hell your ass, Geppetto. You know, why? Because Geppetto wants a little boy? Yeah, You guys don't see these things the way that I see these things. Now, the people that write these things, they'll be like, oh, you got a dirty mind. No, my mind has been opened and I understand what all these stories are saying today. And the answer will be, it is because these people abandoned the covenant of the Lord. So there was an agreement between you and the Supreme Spirit. And when you were in the Supreme Spirit's glory and you walked in the Supreme Spirit's glory, then you did well. You were righteous and you had riches and you lived a good life. And then you started going into the cities of the pagans and worshiping their other gods and stuff. And then this is how they got a hold of your text, your manuscript, and they changed the scriptures. And Jesus tells you himself that the scriptures were changed. And he was warning you anyways that the scriptures would be changed. The Bible tells us that the scriptures will be changed, all in the New Testament and stuff. You just only have to open your eyes and hear the truth. So anyone that's reading this Bible to you and telling you that it's a perfect manuscript, that there's no errors in it, and it's just a righteous 100% without any error at all, is a devil, man. Get away from them. They don't know how to read the Bible. All right? And that's 98% of the people on the face of this earth don't know how to read this Bible. Don't even understand the difference between a Gentile. I'm serious. You could go out and ask people what a Gentile is. They don't have the answer. That's how dumbed down they are. See, you have to understand the difference between Gentile and human beings. You have to understand that Gentile and human beings have been crossbreeding for a long time. That Satan said to the Supreme Spirit that you, the children of Israel, are no better than the Gentile nations themselves, the beast nations that were created on the sixth day of creation. Look at you. You're out. Israel's out there in the streets shooting one another. They're doing the drugs. They're wanting to be rich. They're wanting to be powerful. I'm not saying all of Israel. I'm just saying the stiff-necked people of Israel. This is why you guys were getting hung in the streets and burned alive and stuff, because the Spirit of God wasn't having you guys dealing with the evil. He's been beating you down since the very beginning, and you still can't figure it out to stop the worship of pagan idols and turn back to the Spirit of truth. Whatever spirit it was that used Moses as a vessel to take you from Egypt, whatever entity that possessed Moses, you heard me right, possessed Moses to take you from Egypt. That's the spirit of one that you're supposed to be worshiping. That is your God. Your God is not the same as the Gentile God. The Gentile God is a God made in its own image. It's a vain show of itself. God doesn't want you worshiping those on the sixth day. You must wake up from that, Israel. Why isn't Israel talking about the sixth day? The answer is right there. That's what the New Testament is telling you in Revelations, is that the answers between Revelations and Genesis are combined together, and it's telling you who the beast is. It's Jesus. Okay, they went off and worshipped other gods and bowed down to them, gods they did not know, gods he had not given them. You are a different type of person. You are a living being. Those that are created on the sixth day of creation are the walking dead. They're created in an image. You got to understand that. They're images. They are not real. It's an illusion. This plane of existence, the material world, is not real. You think it's real, and that's what keeps you trapped here. You are a soul. Stop being carnal and living in the flesh and chasing after the things of the world. This is the only way that you can find some spiritual wealth, spiritual feeding. You can't be in the world. We as a hive, as a community, as a state, as a country, are all guilty the same. We're all equally guilty at throwing away trash every day. We're all equally guilty of urinating and taking a dump in a frickin' toilet bowl and flushing it into a sewage system and stuff. There has to be a better way. That way is dumping mankind as your Lord and Savior. You guys are worshiping mankind. You're not worshiping the Spirit. The Spirit created evil, and then he created another race, a race that didn't know anything. That evil was the knowledge of tree of good and evil. The evil that fell away from God knew what good was, and knew by falling away from God that it wasn't good. So what fell away, us, the angels, we know what's right and wrong. God's children didn't know what was right and wrong until they ate from that tree of knowledge of good and evil. Okay, stop worshiping other gods. You look at this God I showed you, is 430 again. This is going to be Elohim, or something close to that. Okay? Therefore the Lord's anger burned against the land, so that he brought on it all curses written in the book. In furious anger and in great wrath the Lord uprooted them from their land and thrust them into another land, as it is now. So you are uprooted from one land. You have been uprooted. From the very beginning, you were uprooted when you were cast out of the Garden of Eden. You were uprooted. The secret things belong to the Lord your God, but the things revealed belong to us and to our children forever, that we may follow all the words of the law, a spirit, the law of the Supreme Spirit. Much love to all those that are contrite in their heart and have a true desire to know the Supreme Spirit. It's that simple. You have to ask for your Supreme Spirit to be placed back on you, because you had a memory wipe. Okay? Right now, people are having a total recall. They're showing you in the movies. These aren't science fiction movies. These are truth bombs being told to you of the reality that we live in. Okay? You could very well be the clones, Gentile nations. Many people walking around here are NPCs. They have souls, but they don't have the Spirit of God on their soul. Their spirit has left them when they fell away from God. That's what it means to die. You spiritually died when you fell away from God. Much love, peace, blessings, light, tranquility. The warmth and comfort of the Supreme Spirit comes when you worship him. Without it, sorry to be you. Peace. This is White Raptor News Ministries.